you'll need oil, an oil filter, you'll need either spanners, a shifter or a socket set, a pair of pliers. My standby tools will be a screwdriver and a hammer. Depending on the clearance of your car, you may require a jack. In my case, my car is lowered and will require a jack. I do not have jack stands and we don't require them, however they are a good idea to get hold of. I'll be using a drip pan with a 6 litre capacity. Car up, this is the first thing you need to do. If your car's high enough, you may get away with not having to jack it up. Now from here you can see the jack I've put across the main support bar on the front. This bar contains a lot of the weight from the car, so it's fine to jack it up, but be wary. Don't attach to a sway bar or any type of moving part. If you do, you'll be putting your life into your own hands. This is the sump. The sump is located on the bottom of the engine, so you shouldn't have any difficulty finding it, depending on your car. There's a bolt just on the left hand side in this one. You can't see it from this angle. Now what you're going to want to do before you get too carried away is to put your drip pan underneath it, positioned so that the bolt should be directly above where the oil is going to land. So make sure you have it positioned correctly, otherwise you'll make a big mess. Currently I have the socket over the bolt and I've loosened it. And once it's loose, you're going to use your finger to unwind it. Now it's very important that you haven't driven the car recently, or the oil is going to be very hot and you can very easily burn yourself. Here we go, I'm going to loosen it now. Be careful not to drop the bolt in the oil. If you do, you're going to have a hell of a time getting it out. There's the bolt there, very sticky and icky, and there's the oil draining from your engine. Now it should come out in a steady stream. What you're going to do is you're going to go away for a little while and wait for it to drain out. A good thing to have on hand is a rag bag, or in this case a rag container. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bolt and I'm just going to clean up the top of it, but try not to clean the thread too much. Leave at least some oil on the thread. This will make it easier to screw on and also easier to screw off later. Now the first thing you have to do is you're going to have to find your oil filter. In this case it's on the left hand end side of the engine if you're looking from the front. Just underneath this is the throttle here. And your oil filter is just here, this black round circle here in my case. The Ryco is white. They could come in black, white, red, different colours. You're basically looking for a large round object. We'll show you the new one in a second. You'll be able to identify from that. This one actually has oil filter written on it if I look. So we're going to get that out of there. Now hopefully this is only hand tightened and I should be able to get it out just by twisting it with my hands. If not, we may have to resort to more drastic measures, and that's where the hammer and screwdriver come in. I'll explain that now. In the event that I can't get it off, I'll have to hammer in the screwdriver across the oil filter, and by doing that I will allow myself to be able to use the screwdriver as a sort of lever to twist it off. I'm hoping I don't have to do that because it's very tight in here. Some cars are very open with their oil filters. This one's a little bit tucked away, so I really don't want to have to do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they put it on too tight. Just so you can see, what I did was I hammered in the screwdriver on an angle. Sometimes you can actually go straight down in a straight line. That gets a little better leverage that way. I had to come in on an angle. It was still pretty tough. I'm actually sweating a little bit. But once I'd loosened it, which took a lot to crack, I got it off now. It even says here, tighten 2/3 turn after gasket contact. That's it. That was definitely not on 2/3 turn. That was tightened up, right up, just crazy tightened up. 2/3 of a turn, not even a whole turn. I am leaking oil everywhere. Okay, definite mess. We'll see if we can fix that all up. I've got the second filter here. Oh, they seem to have put a plastic strip on top of them. I didn't realise that was there. Let me get that off. I guess that's pretty good. They didn't used to have that on there, or not when I've bought them. You can see it's practically the same as the other. This one's white though, of course with black fingerprints on it now because there's so much oil. What we're going to do is just screw that on, go in the opposite way. You're going to go clockwise, the other was anti-clockwise. You're going to tighten that on. Now as I said, you tighten it up. Now before we get too excited, this ring here is dry. You don't want that dry. So what you're going to do is get yourself a little bit dirty after I just wiped off my hands. You're going to find, I'm just going to get some oil off my engine bay. There's oil everywhere. You're going to get that and you're going to rub it around that till it's wet. And you can find the hole where it screws onto. There should be oil in that, all around it. That will already have oil on there, but you want to put it around that ring. What that's going to do is it's going to protect it a little bit because oil doesn't get oil and water separate. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to make it slide easier. It's going to make it go easier. It's not going to have as much friction, and it's going to act as both a sealant and it's going to reduce friction, allowing you to tighten it on by hand. You should not require any tools. You'll be able to feel when they make contact, and you just turn it 2/3 turn, they say. As I said, I go until it just feels right. You don't have to go nuts. These things don't fall off. They don't, as a general rule. And there it is. It's been replaced. So that's the oil filter done. That's one job complete. Very easy. As I said, I did it up till it was tight, and now I can't turn it by my hand. It's not exactly easy to get back off, but it still moves a little bit in the reverse if I do give it a bit more. I mean, I'm doing it one-handed, of course. If I was to get both hands around that, I would get that off easy. And it's not going to slip off as I'm driving along. So that's the oil filter done. Now in this time, this has been draining over here. Get down, have another look. You see, there's no stream of oil pouring out. So we're going to finish up the oil change and then we'll move on to the radiator. Now I've just dipped the end of the bolt into the oil. Don't take away the oil pan until you've put this bolt back in. I'm going to do it up with my fingers, and then I'll actually just to plug it off, I'll remove the drip pan, then I'll retighten it completely. So I'll screw that in with my fingers now. There's the bolt there. I tightened it, finger. I went about 2 turns with the wrench. She's tight enough. She'll never come off. Unless I was to hit it or tamper with it in some way, drive for 1,000,000 kilometers or something stupid like that, it's not going to come off. You don't need to go until you just break something. So there she is. Now we'll unscrew where the oil goes. This one actually says that that's the oil, but it's always on top of your engine as a general rule. Some European cars have small areas where they you put it and it goes into your engine. Now the end of my fuel has this, has little nozzles. See, a lot of the normal ones don't have that, but I shouldn't make too much mess. I could always put the drip pan underneath. Now, you don't want to overfill it. That's a bad thing. Underfilling oil is bad. Overfilling oil is worse. Because when you overfill it, you're going to end up with the oil in your pistons or in the cylinder, and it just comes out, makes lots of black, thick smoke, and outside of being bad for the environment, it's also bad for your car. Some people say it's fine, but it does cause damage over time. And that will conclude the oil change. We'll move on to coolant next. I'll top this up, and that's how you do an oil change.